Welcome back. It's Q3 Week 5, Day 1. We will be getting a head start today. Yep, we're going to start modeling the head. We're going to start with a box and keep adding some loops and try and define 4 main loops in the face. Now, because of the way our face muscles work, we want to make sure that our topology, which is how our edges and vertices lay out, are in a very specific system. Okay, so when your eye muscles move and your eyelids blink, it stretches your skin around, and in particular, it stretches this part of your skin around. So what we're going to do is we're going to build specific loops out that will deform properly as we have facial animation. Now, as of right now, we probably won't be adding facial animation, but it's a good process to get into the habit for. So first things first, one of the first loops we're going to look for is the eye loop, and you can see it here. We're going to build that out. Then we're going to have what I call the marionette loop, which is the loop that sort of starts up here on your nose and goes around underneath your mouth. And then next we have the nose loop, which is where your nose is extruded from, and then the forehead to chin loop, which runs from your forehead all the way down to the front of your chin. And it basically defines the outside edges of your face. So that's the goal of what we're going to do today, but we're going to start the whole thing with a box. And then next time we get together, we're going to add in the rest of the details of the face. So like the nostrils, the mouth, and the eye. And then the day after that, we'll deal with ears and hair. And we'll talk about smoothing. So at the end of today, we're going to end up with something like this. At least that's the goal. We are going to have these loops that I was telling you about. So this loop in particular, the eye loop, if I hold shift after I select one face, you can see it loops evenly around. If I grab this and then shift and connect any of these next to it, I get the loop that will sort of define the face. And this is the marionette loop around the mouth that we were talking about. And then the nose loop runs right next to that. Okay, now in there we have some things like these two faces that are somewhat transitional, as well as these 4 that are also transitional. They don't necessarily define their own loops. See, this actually it's just this area. This sort of comes up to here and then stops, although it kind of keeps going through there. But realistically, that's sort of a transitional portion. Same thing with this portion here. That is also transitional. So these won't necessarily loop. If you hold shift and select them, they won't as easily grab whole sections. And one nice thing about this is how we do have these edges that we can insert vertices on and then create these loops. All right, now everybody's nose is slightly different. Your nose is probably significantly different than my beak, so that's fine. We'll talk about, you'll obviously need to sort of define your own geometry here. You'll notice that I probably will need some extra geometry before I'm done to make this look better. But for now, this is pretty good. We're not probably going to worry too much about the nostrils today. I did that and then I realized that's probably something we'll wait till tomorrow on. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to grab all that and grow it until I got the whole thing, and I'm going to delete it. I'm going to hide the rest of the body. So delete that. I'm going to hide the selection, and then we're just going to work on the head. I'm going to start with a box. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to select it from the left side, push forward, and I'm going to create 2 segments like that, because we're going to need that. So from the front, you can see I've already got the basic shape, and it should line up on the grid at 0, 0, 0. You can sort of see my grid there. I'm going to turn the grid off again because I don't need it right now. I'm going to convert this box to an editable poly, and I'm going to add my modeling material to it so I can see through it. Now I'm going to grab my vertices, and I'm going to try and place them, scale them up, so that they're roughly at the bottom of my chin and the top of my skull. I'm going to try and avoid my hair for now. You should do the same. Everybody's hair is going to be slightly different, probably, and that's fine, but and we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to sort of bring it out here to where I think the edge of my face is. Bring that to there-ish, and this will come to there. Good. Now from the left view, you'll see I've got a bunch of fun geometry. Now I'm going to grab this section here, and from the front I'm going to pull that out. Okay, so I'm getting, and I want to go to, once again, my skull and trying to avoid my hair. At this point we're going to have to start sort of looking through a little better and making it a little more functional. I'm going to grab all of those and all of those, and let's see, those. So I'm just basically grabbing that outside group and I'm going to scale it all in. I don't really care if it's great. You can also see that at this point it's getting sort of difficult to manage seeing through it. So I'm going to hit W and start sort of moving some verts around to try and get closer to the head shape. Once again, try and avoid your hair, try and look through your head, and think about where your skull is. And we're not worried too much about it right now. If this is confusing, which it is because there's a lot of edges, I'm going to hit the number 4 to get faces. I'm going to hit Q so I don't accidentally move anything. I'm going to select all these faces on the inside and then delete them. That way from the left I can sort of see better. As we build out today, we are going to try and make sure, hitting W to move these edges around. And remember, pause as you need to. As we move things around, we're going to try and remember that the topology is very important, and that how this works, this edge here I think is going to be my eyebrow-ish. I may have to bring that back, I'm not sure yet. We're going to make most of the geometry on the front side of the face, because that's where most of the geometry will need to be, because that's where most of the detail is. Okay, I'm going to bring that down to there. This is going to come back to there-ish. Maybe even bring that up to there. Cool. I'm going to bring this vert just under the nose, and this will go there. So you can sort of see how we're trying to frame the face already. As we build things out, try and think of everything like a wagon wheel, so that everything is sort of spoking out from the center. The face is a little different, but you sort of get it. All right, so that's our general shape right now. It's starting to look kind of sort of like a head from the top view. Like I said before, we're going to try and make sure we have that spoke feeling to it, so everything's sort of coming in like that. That's going to make things feel a lot better. From the left view of this, move it down. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Now, this is fine. It's a decent start. Let's look at it from the front. We're going to need more geometry. I think I'm going to bring this in for now. Actually, bring it all out. Well, what we'll do is we'll add more definition by adding a loop. So let's go ahead and add a loop here. So loops, insert loop. Okay. Now, from the left view, we should be able to see that. Good. So you'll notice, in order to make this look good, we're going to make sure that as we get closer to the center, it's going to be pretty much even, flattened out, which means most of our geometry will be very close to the center along that line, And this is actually going to be, I just want the front one. This is going to build the bridge of the nose. Make sure I get the right vert. Bring that over from the front. Oh, come on. Bring that out. All right, cool. From the left. So you can sort of see where this is going. It's going there. You'll see that the edges that are closer to the center will be very, very, very close to each other from the side view. The vertices will look very, very close to each other, and that's okay. All right, good. Good, good, good. I can come up. Once again, we're looking at skull. Cool. That's roughly where we want it. That's roughly the shape we want. Cool. Bring that forward a little bit. All right, good, good, good. Okay. All right, from the front, I think we're going to make an eye line now. So what I want is I'm going to want an edge to the loop through here that will sort of come back in for the nose and then also run along where the eye will be. So we'll split this face into a sort of quad that we can then work with. All right, so once again, grab an edge, grab this edge loop, go to loops, insert loop, and then let's move those verts around a bit. So that's going to go there. These can sort of even out. Good. From the front. I'm going to bring that out. Now, once again, like I said before, from the front, it's difficult to work with this right now because of the way it's sort of laid out. I think I'm going to add a loop here too. Loop, insert loop. It's difficult to look at this from the front and see which vertices are which. And I just want to move the front vertices, and now I'm having a problem doing that. So in order to help myself with that, I'm going to actually make sure I have this selected, right-click, and go to Object Properties, select Backface Cull, and click OK. With that, you're going to see only what's in the front, okay? Which means we are going to be able to sort of define this a little better. Sort of say, okay, this is where this goes, and we can see which faces we're working with a little more accurately. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Now, once again, you'll notice that I'm constantly sort of popping out to perspective view and looking at how it looks overall to make sure I'm maintaining the general shape of what I'm looking for. Okay, cool. I'll move that in. That's going to be fine. This is going to come in and out like that a little bit. This could probably come in some. This whole edge, make sure I don't get those back ones. Hit front, I'll bring that in some. Cool. Front. This will also be in, and this will be out. Cool. Front. All right, good. So once again, I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting what I consider to be the skull, the inner portion. I'm trying to ignore hair if I can, and see where exactly this edge will be. Maybe like that. Cool. Now from here, from the front view, let's see. Now here's where I'm going to start building out loops. Okay, so what I want is I want one loop that's going to run through here. I want another loop that's going to define the eye. So we're going to do that first. I'm going to take all of this section right here. And I'm probably going to have to bring that up and create another loop. That's okay. You know what I could do? Let's do this. I think I'm going to create an edge that starts here. Yeah, we're going to start up here and then add a loop that runs this way. Let's go ahead and do the eye loop first. So from the front, go ahead, take this, and I'm actually going to delete that. Grab this entire section with the number 3. That'll grab that entire section. We're going to scale it in, all right, by holding Shift and scaling in from the center, and that's going to give us this sort of loop here. Now, from the left view, it's going to look pretty bad at first. We're going to have to bring all of this forward like that, and this will also come forward. All of this will come forward. Cool. From the front. Now from the front, we want to sort of, we want to define, I'm going to move this up some. We are going to try and define the eye socket, not the actual eyeball. So I want to move all of this in, like that. Grab all that, move it in. Careful not to go too much. All right. See how we're defining the socket. I'm going to take this and bring this in. Take this, move it up. Getting ready to define actual. All right, cool. Now we are going to have triangles. That's okay. Especially when it comes to how we need to build this out. We're going to have some triangles. We talked about transitional portions. This is our transitional portion here. We are going to need a secondary loop that runs, actually, we should probably added it beforehand. So let's go ahead and add it now. We can take this section, oops, these two, and add a loop to that. Loop from the front, that'll be good. Cool. And we can use that. Define that. Oh, I got too many. I don't want any of those. I just want the front. The back face cull doesn't make it so you can't grab it, just makes it so you can't see it. So that could be annoying. Looks like I may have to bring the other one in too. That's good. Like that. Cool. So here's our issue here. I want this front portion from the front. I want to be able to have this loop up and around. Okay, so it goes from here to there, to there, to there, to there. All right. The current geometry is not going to support that, so I need to fix it. And the best way to do that initially is to grab this, this section here, and remove it. So I'm going to take that, delete it, grab that gap again, or hit 3, grab this entire section 3. Grab that section, and I'm going to cap it. Now that's going to give me this entire huge cap, and that's okay for now. I'm going to then select these two edges, not that one, and I'm going to connect them, which will give me a face here that I can work with. Then I'm going to grab the center again and delete it from the front. I'm going to grab this and inset it. It doesn't really matter how much. 1 centimeter seems to be fine for me for now, because all I'm doing is creating this section here. All right, now in order to get this vert back in, I'm just going to select it and then right click on the spinner down in the X position. Same thing here, right click on the X position. All right, and that's closer to what we want. Now we're going to have to do some geometry slicing because we want this to move up and through. And right now it doesn't. So let's start moving some stuff around. Once again, this is doing pretty well. We are going to add this loop. I think I'm going to add a loop here that's going to go all the way around to the bottom. And that's going to be our outside forehead loop that we're going to be able to work with. Actually, I think I'm going to split that one and then loop it through there. Front. Anyway. Cool. Let's go ahead and define our nose a little bit more. Grab those two. Move it up. And this can be out for now. Okay, so what we want here is we want to sort of reposition this so that we have, as I said before, the loop that sort of comes in from here and goes all the way around. So we're going to keep this as a quad by adding a, I'll reposition that real quick. Okay, so I'm going to grab this edge here, okay, this one on the front, and this is where we are going to split off and go up, okay? So, whoops, I can remove that, and I'm going to sort of just define this. Actually, I'm going to undo that. So grab this edge, and we're going to go to Edges, Insert Vert. Okay, and then we're going to start to define how this is going to come out. Right there. Hit number 2 again. Insert Vert. Edge. Insert Vertice. And then I can connect those two. So what I've done is I've defined this sort of transitional portion, and I've started to build out this section. Now I will have a try. There's not really a way I can avoid that. I can take this and attach it to there. And I'm going to have a try here. And we can see if we can adjust that later and attach this through here to give it more definition. But for now, we're just going to leave that there. Up here, we're going to have to find a way to get it back in. So we're going to have to get a more geometry to modify. So grab this, go to edge. So we're grabbing this inside edge. The idea here is, and it's not, it doesn't, you don't have to follow this exactly, but we are trying to get to the point where we are back out here with quads. Okay, so connect. That's going to move up like this. This is going to move up like this. We're going to deal with this problem here, which is, it's a quad, but it's kind of a messy quad. And we'll deal with that later. Okay. Now, I'm going to add this edge here, here, and here. I'm going to connect them. Which when I connect edges like that, what it's going to do is it's going to give me a new edge with verts all the way through. Okay? So from here, I can move this down, that in. Okay. So let's go ahead and connect those two, which gives me a try that I'm going to remove. And then this is going to hit the number 2. Actually, I'm going to add an edge, or insert a loop, or a vert there. So these connect. Move that up. And then this I'm going to connect over by just going this edge here, edges, insert vert. So from there I'm going to connect that to there. Connect. Alright, so now I've got this loop defined and this loop defined. I do have a try there, which will be around the nose. That's okay. Now to define this section here, I could, and it might not be a terrible idea, I could do the same thing I did with the mouth, where I delete it and inset it. Let's go ahead. Let's just inset and see how it looks. Yeah, that's going to be fine because that's going to give us quads all the way around, and that's what we want. Sweet. Then we can grab this and delete it. And we can even take this from the front and then fix our problems. Grab that edge right here. Move that to the center. Move that to the center. Move that one to the center. Great. So now, to define that, I can grab this edge. I'm going to insert an edge there and insert an edge there. Edges, insert vert. I said edge, but sorry. Cool. Connect. Connect. Hit number 2. Edge, insert vert. Now I've got a quad there. I can attach that there. Get rid of this edge, and I am now, oops, remove. Now I have no tries. And I've got my loops that I was looking for. So that's my nose loop. Front. Now we can sort of build out further face geometry. You will have a 5-edged vertice here. That's kind of unavoidable. There's not really a way we can get rid of that. What's important though is we have this loop, we have this loop, and we have this loop. Next, we should grab all these quads, and we can sort of extrude them out, or move them out at least, and then we can start building out our geometry. From the front, move those up, see how that starts moving out. That goes there, like that. Right, moving on. Good, good, good. So you sort of get the idea. At this point now, it's more about figuring out where everything's going to move from. This section comes up there. That comes through there. Once again, since this is our loop, move this in some. This is our cheekbone. Move that out some. Now we have this portion and this portion. It's coming in like that. This portion like that. See how that starts to work from the front. Ooh, did not mean to do that. Grab those two. They're good. From the left. Now everybody's nose is going to be different, and that's fine. Don't be afraid to use extrusion to get what you need. Now, when I say use extrusion, I really mean that you should look at how your nose is built and then decide if you need to extrude to the left in this case. My case in particular, because I've got a big schnoz. So from the front, there's not really enough geometry here to define the nose, like the nostril area that we need. And we will want it to sort of flare out more. So from the front, I'm actually going to pull all this in a little bit, like that, and then like this, like that, that down. So from here, I can actually sort of say, all right, so I know that this section here is going to need more definition, all right? So we're going to extrude that out by just a little bit. 10 is ridiculous. All right, good. And then I'm going to relax that, and you can see how that's going to become the geometry that I need to make the larger portion of the nostril. Right through there, that's going to go through there, that's going to go through there, and we start sort of defining that out. So, and one other thing that you should sort of look for is as we're modeling this, this can come in quite a bit, and that's going to sort of determine the nostril flare. And that's going to come down, and from the left view, you start bringing that out. So obviously I'm going to need more geometry for the tip. So I'm actually going to extrude this whole section here out as well. Yeah, extrude. Just a little bit. And then grab those vertices and move them around so that they're going to fit better using the W key. This part here is going to come down here. You can hear everybody being loud. Of course, they're not going to be loud much longer because they know that I'm trying to record and they're going to be listening to this. And they're going to be like, I can't hear. Then they're going to cry. They're just going to cry. So that's that for the nose. A nice thing to do is constantly sort of look at the relaxing tool and adjust things through there, making sure you're using it effectively. Also, especially on the nose portion, I really think that the nose part is probably one of the most difficult portions of the face to get so it looks right. So don't worry about, if you're having a hard time. There you go. That looks. Also, when I extrude out from the edge, I got this face that I forgot about. Don't forget about it, because you need to keep your center line. So make sure you keep your center line centered. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble later. There. And that gives us kind of what we're looking for. All right. Once again, at this point, it's all like pixel pushing, right? So we want to just get the best definition we can. Right. And it's going to be, especially back there, it's going to be weird and kind of tight. There, left. And that's going to be the front. Like that. Left. All right, cool. So that's where we're at there, which is pretty good. That's going to come out. We need to sort of define where the mouth is going to be, so it's roughly the right shape. And then we're going to bring this up some more. Bring that in some more. Bring this, I'm going to actually use the rotate tool, rotate a little bit, move it out like that. So what we've done is we've defined the basic shape. The back of the head doesn't look great, but we've defined the basic shape. At this point, it's all about like working with your own individual problems, right? Your own constraints. When you look at, especially at the nose, try and make sure that the geometry is relatively even. It's going to be difficult to work with, or just, it's a difficult thing to manage, how your nose like sort of extrudes out. Try and look at it from multiple angles, and always keep in mind that you want to make sure that you have this loop that's going to sort of define a majority of the way it works. Adding nostrils is actually really easy because all we need to do is inset. So it's just a matter of saying, okay, there. That's pretty good. I'm going to bring this down. That. If you need to, that actually works pretty well. So adding the nostrils is pretty easy, like I said. It's just a matter of sort of defining individual sections. So I'm going to grab, you can grab all of these sections and inset them. And then you can inset them like that. Click OK. Relax it. And then from there you extrude it. Negative. Like that. And that's the basic idea. Now if you've got sharp edges like that, then you've got to modify it a little bit. And obviously I'm kind of trying to finish this out, because once again, at some point, it's pointless for you to watch this because your nose is probably different, right? And this section here, this whole area, that area can be sort of shrunk down. You can right-click, convert to vertex, and then go to geometry, relax, and then collapse. So that's that. Grab these vertices themselves, and then sort of smooth them out so they make sense. All right. And that's basically it. Now, the last sort of thing I would say to do is we do not have our outside loop, which we would need, our final sort of defining edge. At this point, I'm going to take this face. I'm going to take this edge, excuse me, go to edge, insert vert, and then I'm going to actually take this edge, insert vert, and then connect from there to there. Connect those two. And now from here I can go through and connect those. Connect. By connecting those, now I have a place to connect through here. Connect. Like that. There. And now from there I can connect through here. So once again, grabbing edges, connect, and then verts, connect. Alright, so now I have quads all the way through. And now I also have, if I hit 4, I hit shift, I've got this loop. From the left view, that's good. You can see I've sort of defined the outside reaches of my face. I'm going to actually use this to define through there. Like that. Sort of smooth that out. I'm going to sort of follow the hairline. There and there. There to that. From the front. Alright, and that's basically it. That's where we're at. It's not bad. That's exactly where we wanted to be today. So we did the face. We laid out the face. We have the nose. We've got our facial loops. Once again, like I said, I'm sort of following the hairline there. And that, look from the front especially, you're going to want to make sure you're starting to get your skull roundness. So that's going to come out like that. This could probably come out more like this. We've got that. And then we've got this section here. So now from here, I'm ready to go. From the left view, it's already set up. And that's basically the end of our recording today. There's probably a lot more definition back here than we need. I'd probably go through and sort of weld some of these together, maybe try and get quads. You can just target weld some of this in, and then we can have quads all the way through. We don't need a whole lot of definition on the back of the head, so that's going to be fine. Let's do that, and then this goes to there, and then this goes to there. Yeah, we may have to delete that. Grab that, delete it, and then target weld it. Actually, that is a quad, so I don't need to get rid of it. I just need to bring these down more, like that. Alright. Anyway, we're not too concerned about the back of the head. Alright, so from the front, it looks pretty good. It's basically where we need to be. Be careful. I find that I tend to not quite define the outside of the face enough. Like it's bigger, especially from the front, than I feel like it should be. There, that kind of works. Left. There. Once again, what we're looking for is that loop, this loop, and then that loop. Oops. I accidentally moved it. That loop. Oof. Oh, see, I screwed that up. Alright, anyway, make sure that this loop is actually there. I'll have to fix that before I move on. It's actually not too difficult to fix. In case you did that, let's go through how to fix that. It's all target welding. Okay, so go back into there, target weld. Target weld from there to there. There to there, and there to there. Okay. So grab this and move it over. Okay, so this moves from there to there. This needs to target weld together. I can weld it just by cranking it. There. And this needs to... Now we'll do some more target welding. Target weld from there to there. And target weld from there to there. So that's a quad. So that goes through there, and that target welds to there. And then I just get rid of that edge. Remove. The last, so that should be fine. And I've still got plenty of geometry to sort of work with my nose. And at this point, what I need to do, especially since I just did a whole bunch of weird welding, I can move this out. I don't want to move that along too much of a, I don't want to screw that line up. So I'm going to move it back here, and then I'm going to target weld over. target weld from there to there. I'll probably have to edge it first. If it won't target weld, if you connect it and then target weld, it will work just fine. And then select from there to there and connect that. Oh, I've got an edge that's running through it. Remove the edge, then connect from there to there. Cool. So now I've got my loop that I wanted initially. There we go. Okay, so I have that one. I have that one, and that one. And I have transitional stuff here, here. I have transitional here, and this is transitional right there. All right, that's it. So once you get to that point, you're in good shape. You can smooth out the rest of your head, and then you should be good to go. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow when we define the eyes a little better, and we will define the eyes, and we'll define the rest of it. All right, thanks again.